everybody. How are you guys? Welcome to episode 21 of the Crochet Cakes podcast. My name is Elizabeth. I am your host for this and every other podcast you will find on my channel. Sometimes I co-host with my mom, but not today. Sadly, we have it all planned out when the next podcast that we record together is going to be, so you guys can look forward to that. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. And if you are a new viewer, then thank you so much for checking out the little corner of this podcast. If you like the video, just press the like button. And if you would like to see more videos from me, then please subscribe to the channel. I noticed that we have a lot of new subscribers lately, so I just want to say a huge welcome to anybody who's subscribed recently. I hope that you have all been keeping well. It's been very adventurous past couple of weeks, and I can promise you that this episode is filled to the brim with yarny goodness. That is mostly what this episode will entail. So if you are here to check out projects I've made or items I'm crocheting, there's not a lot of that going on this week. This week it's more about the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. Because if you've watched my previous episodes or if you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen that I was at the Edinburgh Yarn Festival, and oh my god, I still can't even process everything that just, went on at the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. It was the first yarn festival I've ever been to, and it was overwhelming, I'm not gonna lie, but it was amazing as well. And I've got so much to tell you guys. So yeah, I'm just gonna get started with basically Edinburgh. So I left here on Wednesday, the 8th of March, and I arrived to Edinburgh Thursday, the 9th of March. It was around 10 o'clock in the morning. Picked up all my luggage, took the tram, and ended up at St. Andrew's Square. That was the stop that I needed because I was staying at Calton Hill. And yeah, if you use Google Maps, I don't know if you have this problem, but my GPS, if I use Google Maps, always gets me lost. It's just very annoying. So I was at St. Andrew's Square kind of like going around in a little circle trying to find out where I was supposed to be headed, and this very nice gentleman just, he noticed I was lost right away and he pointed me in the right direction. And all Google Maps had to say was to get off the tram, head down towards Princess Street, take a left all the way up, then you will find Calton Hill. It wasn't that complicated, really. And well, as soon as I got off the plane, I met up with Allison from the Keep Calm and Carry Yarn podcast, which is a great podcast. If you haven't checked it out, I encourage you to check it out. It's an audio podcast, which is exciting because if you're one of those people that watches your podcast in the car, then you don't have to be worrying about looking at the pictures. But what Allison and her mom do is really great too, because they also post the video on YouTube and they insert pictures of the projects they've talked about, which is really cool. And yeah, so I met up with Allison and her husband. We had lunch. They gave me a walking tour of Edinburgh, and that was amazing. The fact that we could basically walk all around the city. I loved it. We went to a pub. I'm gonna insert a little video of the pub we went to because I know the name starts with W, but for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of the pub. Is it Wetherspoons? I know it's a pub chain, I think. Allison said it was. Anyway, we had a grand old time. Really love the idea of pubs because you've got drinks, you've got coffee, you've got tea, you've got food. What more could you ask for in one place? I love pubs. And so yeah, then it was time to head for dinner. We had dinner reservations at Hema, which was the location where the second knit night was being hosted, because the first knit night was so full that they decided to open up a second knit night, and we headed over there. We met up with Catherine from Crafternoon Treats and her friend Nicola, who's creative.explorer on Instagram. And yeah, there might have been inner squealing because I had talked with Catherine previously. You know, we called each other on WhatsApp, and we had this kind of short conversation about how weird it was to actually be talking to each other while, you know, we weren't looking at each other in a video, because that's what we're used to, right? We're used to interacting via podcasts and videos and YouTube. So that was great meeting them in person. And yeah, we just kind of had dinner, then we went up to the knit night, met some very crafty people. I think they were from Germany. They were Americans, but they had recently moved to Germany, something like that. And they were headed to the Yarn Festival as well, so that was great. And honestly, guys, I went to the hotel pretty early, because even though I didn't suffer jet lag, which was very new and exciting, I was very tired. You know, it was a long plane ride, and just walking and seeing all of Edinburgh was it was a real treat. So I think I was just already in bed by 11 o'clock, which might be early for some people, but you know, I was ready to just go to sleep. But we had the most amazing time, Alison, Catherine, and Nicola at the knit night, and Alison and her husband are just such great people. Okay, so that's kind of what I did on Thursday. On Friday, I did not head over to the Yarn Festival because this was my first time in Edinburgh, and I really wanted to be able to see some of the sights and be able to just walk around the city, breathe Scottish air, drink cider and eat Scottish food. I don't know. I really wanted to take in the feel of the city, and so I decided against heading to the Edinburgh Yarn Festival on Friday. I know Catherine and Nicola went, and they had to stand in a really long queue. But I went, so yeah, after I had breakfast, I headed up to the Edinburgh Castle, and I spent the better part of my day at the castle. There's so much to see at the castle, and I bought the guidebook, which I forgot to bring it with me to show you, but I bought the guidebook and just had a very grand time indulging the historian side of me. I went to they had a whiskey tasting, and it was really funny because my boyfriend, he just wanted, you know, he told me, I want whiskey, could you please bring me whiskey? And I don't drink whiskey, I know nothing about whiskey. So, you know, they had this whiskey tasting. I was like, oh, what better way to, you know, purchase whiskey than tasting it and then purchasing. But it was kind of like a whiskey liqueur, very sweet, very lovely. It was delicious, and I don't like whiskey. So yeah, it was really good. I bought that. Then I just continued walking around to the World War I and World War II memorial, which I'm not gonna lie, I got very teary-eyed because working in these history research that I'm working with a professor of mine from Corsican soldiers in World War I, you get a whole different view of what war was like for them. You know, you get to experience it through them and their fears and their, I don't know, yeah, just having that background and visiting a memorial, it just really hits home how depressing it really is, you know. And then they had a war museum, if I'm not mistaken, inside the grounds of the Edinburgh Castle, and it was just amazing. I really loved it up there. And Then I just walked for about an hour trying to find a place that I wanted to eat lunch in, because this is something that I guess I never really noticed until I went back to, I went to Edinburgh and back to the UK. And it's that you eat breakfast, but lunch is more like a snack, and then dinner is your big meal. And I'm used to it being the other way around. For me, lunch is big, and then dinner is just kind of like a snack. I'm not used to eating a lot. For dinner, And so lunch was usually a wrap and some chips and sandwiches and chips, and I love food. Everything I ate was delicious. I'm not complaining. I just thought it was very, very curious, that lunch is more like a snack. And then that same day I met up with Catherine and Nicola to hear all about the Edinburgh Yarn Festival experience and what shops they liked, what stands they recommended, just if they saw anybody they wanted to see. So we had a dinner, and then we just called it an early night. But so before I headed to the festival on Saturday, I did a little pre-gaming yarn buying. I was staying really close, like a minute away from a John Lewis, and I had never been to, John Lewis department store before. So I headed over there and to the craft section, obviously. It was a bit smaller than what I was expecting because they were remodeling the area, but I did make some very, very, very significant purchases. So I know it's going to sound kind of weird, but for this Edinburgh trip, I wanted fibers that weren't necessarily wool related fibers, which is weird. I'm going to a yarn festival. You're mostly going to find wool. So I made, where are those purchases? I made 2 little purchases. Here they are. 2 little purchases. And when I mean little, I just bought 2 yarn types, but I bought sweaters quantity of them. So the first one I got was this Rowan, and yeah, it's showing up really true. It's their Rowan Tetra Cotton, 50 grams, made in Italy, 100% cotton. And it kind of has like a t-shirty quality to it. Can you guys see that there? Yeah, and I loved it. I really loved it. It was on sale for £1.25. So I got 6 of these little guys, which is 300 grams, which is a good quantity, I guess. 400 would have been ideal, but I bought everything they had from that. And then I also got cotton glacé, so it's a DK, and this is combed cotton, not sure of the color, but it's just like a really dark green. And I also bought 6 of these, so that's 300 grams. I bought this one for my mom, this one for me, but we can share. And so I got sweater quantities of both of these. They were both on sale for the same price, and I thought it was a steal. And then I also purchased this Tilly and the Buttons. I bought a Tilly and the Buttons pattern. It's the Agnes top. And yeah, I got that at John Lewis as well. And it's really funny because now that I have it, I'm like, why did I buy it? Because I still haven't sewn everything I want to sew from the Tilly and the Buttons book. So yeah, I'm like racking up an insane number of projects that I want to make. And not a lot of time, honestly, because sewing for me is something that I have to mentally prepare myself to cut out the pattern, trace the pattern pieces onto the fabric, cut out the fabric, sit down, sew it. And I have to convince myself that yes, that is what I'm going to be doing today. So those are just little pre-gaming purchases that I got, because the real magic happened obviously on Saturday. So Allison and I headed to the festival together because she lived about 15 minutes from where I was staying. So we just headed to the festival together. I stood in line with her because even though I had a ticket, I didn't want her to wait alone. So when it was about time for her to actually head into the queue to purchase the ticket, I just went ahead and met her inside. But while standing in line, one of the first people I saw walking by was Sandra from Cherry Heart and Sam from Betsy Makes. And yeah, I kind of pounced. Like, Sandra! You know, yeah, I promised myself I would try not to fangirl, that I was going to be on my best behavior. But it's so hard. And the funny thing is that I was talking with Sandra. We were just having a conversation about, you know, what it's like to actually meet people that you feel you know because you watch them, you interact with them, and then meeting them in real life, you just feel like you're meeting old friends. And yeah, so met up with, I saw her, and then kind of I kept seeing her around on inside throughout the Yarn Festival, which was really nice. And then we met up with Catherine and Nicola in the festival as well. We, Sandra, Catherine, and I took a picture together. Alison took the picture, and in the background you can see Sam from Betsy Makes as well. So yeah, when we headed into the festival, this was my first proper yarn festival. It was overwhelming. As soon as you headed in, the first thing I saw was Pearl Essence, I think the Knitting Goddess, and then Eden Cottage. And those are the only names I registered. And Alison and I, we just came up with the plan of head towards the stands that have less people and then just do one whole turnaround and then just look for the other stands that might interest us from the map, because we did get a little map that, you know, if you weren't there, kind of doesn't really mean much because they're just the names of the stores, and then you have kind of like, yeah, where the shops were located and everything. So the first purchase I made was I headed over to the Crochet Project, as you do if you're a crocheter, and you know, like Kat Golden and Joanne's Grace have a stand. And I bought the third book of the Shawl Project, book 3. I really loved, I'm not into Tunisian crochet or anything, but I've never done it before, but this shawl really makes me want to try Tunisian crochet. But the reason I purchased the book was because of, where is it? Where is the lovely, lovely pattern? Really like that one. Look at it. Can you guys kind of see? Yeah, it's amazing. And I also really like that one. Okay, so I kind of like them all, that's why I bought it, but my favorite was the green. Look at it. I loved the colors, and I love crescent shawls more than I do V-shaped shawls, so this was a really, really fun purchase for me. And I took a picture with Kat. She was very, very nice about it. And yeah, after that, I'm not sure in what order we purchased anything, except for the second purchase I made was this one. They were £2 each skein, 100 gram skein of just British wool. Really loved this color, really loved it. They didn't have a pack for this color, and they only had this one left, so I thought these two would look really great together as a shawl or a rug or a blanket. I don't know, but I loved it, so I just bought them. And you know, we just walked around as you do. I didn't really see anyone else, walking around, looking at the stands. As I said, Allison and I were really overwhelmed, so we were heading more towards the stands that didn't have a lot of people around them, but we did eventually go back and visit the stands we didn't visit the first time and the potential stands we wanted to buy from the beginning that we didn't purchase, because it was really funny. But when we headed off to the podcasting lounge around 12:30, because we really wanted to sit down, we were kind of tired of just standing and walking around. I think I had only purchased 2 pairs of Chiago needles, which I've got one of them here. I'll look for it later. 2 pairs of Chiago needles, 9-inch circulars for sock knitting, 1 skein, the Crochet Project book, 1 skein of 100% silk yarn for mom, and these 2 skeins of wool. That was it. I hadn't really made any big purchases, and I was telling Alice, I was like, I feel like I bought way more than what I actually have in this bag. So we headed over to the podcasting lounge, which was hosted by Edinburgh Yarns. We just sat down kind of at the tables. We were looking out for Faye because we really wanted to meet Faye, and we knew Faye was going to be heading in around 1 o'clock. So we kind of sat down looking at the door, trying to see the people that would come inside. We still managed to miss Faye coming inside, that was funny. I'm not even sure how we managed to miss that. But we stayed there a while. I met Pink Hen Crochet on Instagram. We were sitting at her table, and I kind of just, like, I feel like I've seen her somewhere. But it was Nicola that went, "Oh, you're Pink Hen Crochet." So that was really, really great. And yeah, so about, I think, 1 o'clock, when the podcaster meetup was supposed to start, we Catherine, Allison, and I spotted Faye, so we kind of gathered around Faye. She had the most delicious tasting shortbread to give away, and yeah, I wanted to commandeer most of it. Faye, if you're watching this, I actually managed to save some shortbread for mom to eat, and she really liked it. She really found the lavender interesting. So props to me. I didn't eat all of the shortbread. That's most important. It was lovely to meet Faye, in real life. She's exactly as you imagine her. Not imagine her, because, well, if you watch the audio cast, you don't see her, but I watched the video podcast. So she's just exactly as she appears on camera. She's very funny, energetic, and she's vibrant. She's a vibrant person. It was lovely to meet her. I spent some time with Sandra and Sam again, which was great. And yeah, I spotted Katie from inside number 23, and I made a bit of a fool of myself because she was also talking to Tracy from Nora George. So I was like, "Hi Tracy, you don't know me, but hi." And yeah, so when I just walked up to Katie and I said hello, and I gave her a little pouch that had a dog in it that I thought she would really like. It had some recess for her and Amrys inside, and I had a little bit of a chat with her, and then I just said goodbye and kind of like walked away because I was trying really, really hard not to fangirl. Yeah, I totally forgot to introduce myself. Completely slipped my mind. And again, it just goes back to the fact that, when you're used to just watching people's podcasts, we feel like we know each other, right? And so I didn't introduce myself. She must have thought I was the biggest weirdo in the planet, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around how embarrassed I still am about what happened. And it was really funny because later on Tuesday, when I met darling Emma from Potter and Bloom. Hi Emma. I was telling her about, you know, how I had embarrassed myself, and she made me feel I think she made me feel about 10 times worse, which is hilarious, because she's like, oh my god, she must have thought you were the biggest weirdo. That's exactly how I saw myself when I forgot to introduce myself, but you know, nothing I can do about that now. She's 10,000 miles away over here. Embarrassment already happened. I can't fix that. I just can't. And you know, I think it was made weirder by the fact that I've had a couple of conversations with Sandra from Cherry Heart, so I feel like I know her. And Catherine, I've had previous conversations with Catherine, and I had previous conversations with Nicola, previous conversations with Allison. So yeah, I felt like I knew them a bit more, but Katie, I've never had any sort of interactions with her, so yeah, I just made a big fool of myself, but what can you do? There's nothing much to be done. So yeah, after I think we stayed in the podcasting lounge until like 2 o'clock, I think it was. We took a professional picture. Faye, Catherine, Nicola, Sandra, Sam, Allison, and I, we took a professional picture all about crochet because we're all crocheters, yeah, representing. And after that, we headed back to the stands to just have another quick look around some stands that we really wanted to purchase from. And the funny thing is that on this second route, I was just thinking to myself, am I really, like, I don't remember seeing any of these people the first time we came around. And I think that was because, you know, there were a lot of people, a lot of stands, and honestly, it's all a blur. If you ask me what I most remember about the Yarn Festival and what for me was the most enjoyable part of the Yarn Festival, it was meeting the people that watch this podcast and meeting other podcasters, and just, it was just, that for me was the core of just the experience. You know, I got to meet Lily Rose Petal, I got to meet Rum on the Rocks and her gorgeous 1-year-old son, who apparently watches my podcast. But the most adorable thing was that when she walked up to Catherine to say hello, Catherine had her back to her, but her son was staring at Catherine like this. He was entranced, and as soon as Catherine turned around, he went so it was the most adorable thing ever. And I just really want to thank you guys for coming up and saying hello, because as previously mentioned, it can be a bit intimidating because we feel like we know each other, and you know, meeting in person can be a bit intimidating. So just thank you guys. If there were any of you who didn't come up and say hello, I really wish you would have, because guys, we're all crafty people, and that's the most important part. It doesn't matter if we embarrass ourselves when we, you know, walk up and say hello like I did. I would have really loved to meet all of you, and it was just great. I know, Rosina, you were a bit shy, but hopefully this will not be my last trip to the UK, because Yarndale, I'm not making any promises, but I am going to try and make it to Yarndale in September, hopefully with my mother. I am not making any promises. This is just something we were talking about because Sandra mentioned it, and Catherine mentioned it, and Nicola mentioned it, and I'm just like, maybe I should. So we'll see. No promises on that front. But anyway, you guys are also probably interested in yarn talk. What did I buy? Well, one second. So there were a couple of shops I was really interested in, and as I mentioned in the first round, I didn't actually purchase any yarn. But in the second round, there was this stand that I hadn't actually seen in the first way around. Midwinter Yarns. And they had linen, like 100% linen yarn. So I didn't even read that it was lace weight. I just read linen and I bought it. So this is Lithuanian linen, 100% linen, heavy lace, light fingering, 450 meters, 492 yards, 100 grams. And this is this beautiful color. You can see the label there. Read that. And my dog missed being in the podcast, if you can hear him. So I got 2 skeins of this lovely grey color. It's kind of looks like natural, really. Got 2 skeins of that. 1 skein of this lighter creamy color and 1 skein of this mustard. It's actually like a golden mustardy. It's showing up really green on camera and I'm not even sure why. I'm gonna try and see if I can pair it with another color, if it'll just come out. Because it's not green, it's gold-ish. Mustard, gold, not green. Okay, color is not showing up at all. So I got all these. And if I would have read that it was light fingering, I would have probably purchased 2 of each, because I was looking for garment quantities, and right now I think we've got, if we combine, and I've never worked with 100% linen before, so I'm very excited about that. Some of these are for me, some of these are for mom. We share. So there's that. Then I purchased this skein, and this one's 100% for my mom. It hand-dyed 100% silk. This is also lace weight, and it is just the softest silk. It pairs up beautifully with this color, kind of, or this one. And it's really what I was going for, is so she could mix and match, and hopefully get a garment out of this, but not sure now. Probably needed to buy more than one, but it's silk. It's not the most affordable. These were really great. These were £9 for 100 grams, which I thought was brilliant. And this one I purchased, don't remember the stand actually, and I didn't grab a card, so yeah, that's rude of me. Then I also purchased from the Skein Queen, and the funny thing is I had visited her stall and I was like, well, the colorways are beautiful, but I'm not sure, so I just kind of ignored it. When I went back with Allison, I went straight for this color. And it's called Luminosity. It's 100% mulberry silk. Yeah, I did that. I did that because look at this. Look at that. Beautiful. So yeah, those were my yarny purchases. I also really liked this Iona, 100% single origin Iona yarn. It's just, you know, if you want to purchase from them, really loved what they were doing. You know, single sheet, you know where it's coming from, you know what you're getting. And I also liked Polo & Co., which was French hand-dyed natural yarn. And what I really liked about her stands, and I kind of regret not going back to it, was she had camel. She had camel wool, and I thought that was just brilliant. So she had some wool and camel hair. She's 100% camel. And I absolutely loved the yarn that she had. Kind of regret not going back and purchasing from, but I got distracted by all the linen. What can you do? What can you do? So those are all my Edinburgh Yarn Festival purchases. except for the Chiago needles, which I previously mentioned. So I didn't go too crazy. Did I? Did I go absolutely bonkers? I'm not sure. Oh, and Catherine was very kindly giving out these little mini, well, more like quarter skeins. This is her Scottish Thistle colorway, which is the colorway that she dyed inspired by the festival. So this is going in my Harry Potter blanket because Hogwarts is in Scotland. Scottish Thistle. I'm allowed, aren't I? And speaking of Scottish Thistle, my birthday was the 12th of March on Sunday, and Nicola, she very, very kindly made this bag for me so I would remember my trip to Edinburgh. This is Scottish Thistle and it's brilliant, and she made it in purple, which is Catherine's favorite color, so I could remember my time with them, and it was just so sweet of her to make this for me, and I love it. So yeah, these two kind of go together. Catherine, which she didn't have to do, but she very kindly gifted me some Lush soap, which smells amazing. It's currently in my bathroom. I didn't bring it with me. And for my birthday, they took me to because I was driving back and staying with Catherine back from Edinburgh. We drove to Catherine's house, and on the way there we stopped in Alnwick, and we stopped in this beautiful, amazing, gorgeous secondhand bookstore that also has very, very delicious food, by the way. So if you're ever in Alnwick, stop by Barter Books. You won't regret it. It's just amazing. It's amazing. I've got no words to say. I loved it. There was fireplaces, there was a train going around because the bookshop is located at the old train station. So I've got so many great memories of this trip to Scotland. You know, sorry about the lighting. Meeting the people, and just I've got so many great memories, and I feel like I've made so many new friends that I'm absolutely over the moon, still trying to process what went on. Other yarny purchases that I made before we move on. I had purchased this yarn from Catherine on Etsy previously, and this is showing up true to color, by the way. This is chartreuse. It's in her 90% Romney lamb's wool from the farm in the Cheddar Gorge, 5% BFL from a farm in Yorkshire, and 5% Shetland from a farm near Inverness in Scotland. So they're 2-ply, sport weight or heavy fingering. I call it sport weight, and these beauties will be part of a garment. Yes, they will be. And I have it in my mind, all that I want to do with it. It's going to be so brilliant. This color is chartreuse, and it says a pale but vibrant green inspired by the first leaves and buds of spring. Just beautiful. And this one is called Streetwise, and it's an urban colorway that is backed by popular demand. And yeah, I can see why it was popular. So I've got that as well, and I got to visit Catherine's house, which is amazing. It's an amazing house. And what else can I tell you about my trip? I wonder what else happened. On Tuesday, Catherine and I headed down to London, and we met up with Emma from the Potter and Bloom podcast, and what can I say about that? It was just brilliant. It was really funny because Catherine and I were waiting outside of Loop. Yeah. We'll get more into detail on the construction I did in a second. So we were waiting for Emma outside of Loop, and I see someone just kind of strolling, and you know, you can't really see the person's face or anything at the distance we were at. But I look at Catherine, I'm like, that's Emma. Catherine's like, how can you tell? I'm like, that is Emma. And as she walked closer, it was Emma. And it was just brilliant. We headed to a pub to just have some coffee, tea, cider, in my case, cider, to just have a chat and get to know each other better, because yeah, we're meeting for the first time in real life, but we've had a lot of communication between us before, and it was just brilliant. Emma is just as lovely as she is on her podcast. That's how she is in real life. She's another vibrant individual, and yeah, it was, I don't have words to express how amazing it was to meet all of you guys. I do not have words to express that. So just gonna tally-ho and move on to, oh wait, before we do that, Emma very kindly got me a birthday present, which I think is brilliant. I got yarn. So easy to buy for us, isn't it? I got yarn. It's Socks That Rock in the, it's called Sock Yeah. It's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And the color is Sphene. Can we talk about this color? Isn't it just brilliant? I mean, look at that. Yeah. Look at that. It's just brilliant. So I've got 100 grams here. I'm not sure if these are going to be socks, because I've also got 100 grams here, and this is fingering weight. I'm thinking garment. Not sure. So that was very, very, very lovely and kind of her. She also got me some eyeliner, which I'm currently wearing, but don't look too close, you might see some actual imperfections in it. And we just had the most amazing time in Loop. And can I just say that I love the bag. I mean, I love it. I just absolutely love the bag. It's what I bought actually was for my mom, and I'm a bit upset with myself because I wanted to get sweater's quantity of yarn for her in cotton. This is just the softest, most adorable cotton I've ever held in my hands. It's BC Garn Alba. It's 100% organic cotton, and I'm not sure about the color, but I only got 3 skeins of this dusty pale pink color and 1 skein of this kind of flesh pink. And I really want to buy some more because I want her to be able to make a garment out of it. And I've got 200 grams here only. So I think I want to just purchase to be able to have 300 grams. So I'm gonna have to check online and see if anybody else carries this yarn. Somebody that I don't have to ship it from London, because I was already there. It's kind of, I'm so upset that I actually forgot to do that. And I also bought the cutest scissors. I'm gonna crinkle a bit. Yeah. Get them out of the package for you guys. Yeah. They kind of look like the Eiffel Tower, don't they? And I absolutely loved them. I know Emma got the little flowery ones, which were really cute, but I was after these. Yeah. I was after these beauties, and I do not regret. This was a bit of a splurge. Do not regret it at all. So that's what I bought for myself in Loop. I also got some Clover soft touch crochet hooks. I got Mom a 2mm because she's very into crocheting socks. I also got her a 3mm for her and for me. And I purchased Inside Crochet. Yeah, I was really excited to purchase this one. Catherine had it and I was browsing through it, and just look at the garments. Just look at them. They're absolutely beautiful. And if you know me, if you watch my podcast often enough, I will be making that. It's called Gwen Gird Tree. I have no idea, but it's by Rianne Drinkwater. I hope I said that right. And I absolutely love the shirt. I mean, look at it. Oh, it's gonna be beautiful, it's gonna be gorgeous, and I love it. Really, really liked all the projects inside this Inside Crochet. And yeah, I cannot say enough good things about it. I mean, look at it. Doesn't it just look beautiful? And I really also like this waistcoat business going on here. Really like that as well. So I got that with a little special gift of amigurumi, which is brilliant because I want to knit the Miss Gelato giraffe from Kay from the Bakery Bears. She designed it, and guys, I have so many projects like queued up that, sorry about that, I have so many projects queued up that I want to make that it's insane. It's insane. Whew. So what else did I buy? You guys must be going like, did you really buy more stuff? Yes I did. One of them is because I wanted to make myself a project bag to remember my trip. In addition to the one Nicola gave me, I wanted to make just a project bag for myself to remember the trip. And so I bought these tea towels because I thought it would be brilliant to make myself a project bag with the tea towels. So this will be on the outside and this will be the lining, and I'm not even sure I will have to interface it because it feels really, really sturdy. And this is Kath Kidston Original, London. I think that's how you say it. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna get a pretty good size project bag out of this, because if I just fold it in half, it's going to be brilliant, actually. If I just fold it in half, it's going to be a very, very decent sized project bag, which I think is great. So yeah, that will be in the works as well, because I don't have plans to sew anything else. Guys, I have plans to sew like 10 things. 2 skirts and a ridiculous number of project bags. But you know, all in the day, all in the day. So we shall see, we shall see, we shall see. I'm very, very excited to actually work on this. I'm not going to put it back until I'll do that later. Another thing I bought, I met up with in London with a friend of mine from my master's degree, and we hadn't seen each other in 2 years, so it was brilliant catching up with her. And we stopped by a bookstore among other things, because we had tea, afternoon tea at the most amazing place. It was very posh. It was in a hotel. I don't remember the name. It was posh. Really. Anyway, I also bought this book, On the Other Side by Carrie Hope Fletcher. I think this was recommended by Katie from Inside Number 23. I could be wrong. I haven't started reading it yet because I've got a lot of books to read to get through, so I don't know how I'm gonna do it all. I need 3 me's. One who just sits, crochets and knits, one who reads, and one who sews. 3 me's. Right, so I think that is all I have to tell you guys about my yarny adventures and meeting up with so many amazing people. Oof, I mean, yeah, it's just brilliant. So I think it's time that we move on to some of the things, crafty things I actually did. And it's time to address the 2 elephants in the room. Number 1, my pom-pom earrings. Yay! Yesterday, because today is Saturday, March 18th. Yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, so I hope you guys had a wonderful St. Patrick's Day if you celebrated. And Mom made me these gorgeous, gorgeous little pom-pom dangly earrings to wear for today's podcast because you had to wear green, right? And I absolutely love them. I'm not sure how she made them, you know, because I'm not an expert, but pom-poms, they're brilliant. And the other elephant in the room is going to require a pause. Right, we're back. Yes, look at this, guys. I finished my Trill Bogies shawl. This is the Muscari shawl. It's a paid for pattern on Ravelry, so I won't give too many details, but it's made using Kayleen's yarn in her sparkle sock base. So this is got superwash merino, nylon, and stellina. And it's a Halloween colorway that she had done. I'm not sure if it's a one-off or not, but it's called Trill Bogies. And I just noticed my face looks kind of green. But it is finished. Look at that. You can't even fit it in the... It's the size of my wingspan, honestly. In the pattern, she's got some... three alterations so you can make it bigger. I chose to make it one size bigger and consequent. I ran out of yarn. I couldn't finish my lace border, but I was very happy with the lace border I actually got. Look at it. So then I thought it was very cool that I ran out of yarn when you've got shells, because shells always make such a fancy lace border, don't they? This is what I've got left. It wasn't going to be enough to actually go around once more, so I just left it at that, and I'm very, very happy with it. It's just beautiful and I love it. I really love it. I think I'm gonna keep it on. So yeah, second finished object. This one made by me. This one made by my lovely, lovely, talented mother. And another thing that I hadn't finished was this is my Slytherin jumper, sweater, cardigan, whatever you want to call it, but it's Slytherin. It's the crop sweater for winter pattern by Andy Satterland, and I made it for the Andy Sat-Along hosted by Katie from Inside Number 23, which runs until the end of March. So you're supposed, like, you can finish, guys. If you're doing it, you can finish. And this was the first ever garment that I knit, and if you follow me, I don't know if I mentioned it on Instagram, but this finished drying in the car on the way to the airport the day I was leaving for Scotland. Yeah, it was a very rainy days and it wasn't just blocking. Now, this has, I think, the only thing I would like to change. I made it the extra small. It fits. I like the way it fits, but I could have made it a small and it would have fit just as nicely and probably more comfortable around the sleeve area. Because one thing I did, which I don't recommend, was that I knit one sleeve on circulars up until I had to do the decreases, and then the other sleeve for some reason was I found it too tight to knit in circulars, so I chose the DPNs, and yeah, it consequence I've got one sleeve just a smidge shorter than the other. Can't really tell. I can tell because I know what I did, but visually it's all good. So yeah, this I finished and absolutely brilliant. I put it up on Instagram, so if you follow me you will have seen it. I don't think I want to knit a garment in a while. I much prefer to crochet my garments, but this was a fun experiment, and I used LRA classic heathers, and I don't remember the color numbers, but just brilliant. The other project I wanted to share was something that I had finished for my trip to Edinburgh, and it was this. And why am I sharing my Hedwig Gets Sorted into Gryffindor socks again? Because something deplorable happened. Like, my eyes teared up when I took off my shoe and I saw this. the first time wearing them, and there's a huge gaping hole in the heel. I see it and I still want to cry. I mean, this was West Yorkshire Spinners, which is supposed to be very great and durable for socks. I don't know what I did wrong. This was the Fish Lips Kiss heel. Maybe just that heel doesn't work for me. Maybe I made it too tight. Maybe I made it too loose. I don't know, but seriously guys, I teared up. I spent 2 months on these socks and I wore them for 8 hours and they broke. So yeah, I have no idea what I'm going to do to fix a sock. I don't know if I'm going to tear the heel apart, if I'm going to try to darn it and just reinforce the heel somehow. I don't know. So if you guys have any ideas, just comment down below and let me know. The other project I wanted to talk to you guys about is something completely new. It's living in my lovely Foxy Lady bag. Well, Foxy Librarian bag, I call it. And it is my birthday cast on. Da 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 da! Oh, yes. Yes. So, for my birthday, I cast on my first ever pair of Hermione's Everyday Socks. And I am using Woolen Vine yarns in her footsie base, and the colorway is Goth Day Cake. I cannot tell you how much I love this colorway. It's seriously, I am in love with this colorway. Look at the way it, and the fact that I chose Hermione's Everyday Sock pattern for it. I'm thrilled that I did that because I feel that these are all very Hermione colors, and I absolutely, I don't know, I love everything about this project. I cast it on March the 12th, and this is like super speedy knits for me because have worked on it all throughout my flight, so I think that's also reason why it got a lot of love. But funnily enough, I don't know how I didn't notice, but when I started my heel flap, I started it on the wrong side, so I ended up with the right side on the inside and the wrong side on the outside. That was while I was on the plane, so I just ripped it all back and started the heel again. So I've done a 2x2 rib, 12 rows of a 2x2, 12 rows my cuff, 2x2 rib, 3 inches of the Hermione's Everyday pattern. I cast on 60 stitches, and then right before I was supposed to start my heel, I increased to 64 stitches, and I think that for me is very comfortable because I've got like chicken legs, but my feet are very wide. So yeah, I need wide, but there is nothing I don't like about this project. I love it. And if, in case you're not familiar with Kayleen's yarn, her footsie base is 80% superwash blue face Leicester and 20% nylon. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, it really does look like a birthday cake. I don't have, speechless. Apparently the theme this week is speechless. Meeting so many wonderful people made me speechless, and apparently my socks are making me speechless. And I think that is because I have talked an awful lot in this episode. I feel like I've talked a lot. So I think the only thing left to say is thank you for spending some of your time with me today. Thank you for tuning in and watching my podcast and listening to me just go on and on and on and on about my Edinburgh adventure and about fangirling with Catherine and Sandra and Sam and Katie and Faye, and about meeting all you lovely people that came up and said hello. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a very crafting week, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye!